All right, welcome back, guys. Here we go. Episode 2. You guys have been awesome. The feedback, the comments, the likes, everything I needed to stroke the ego to come back and share my 2 cents. So, welcome back to the second episode. Yeah, kind of redundant and repetitive, right? Off to a great start. Today's episode, I'm going to be highlighting this really cool gem of a band, the Megetti. Megetti, I can't even say it right. Because there's not much about them. Google, Wikipedia, it's a rough breakdown of their discography. The album in highlight that I'm going to be doing is their first release, Steal the Jet Keys, and what an amazing, amazing album. Released in 97, this 4-piece band. I wish I knew him sooner. Wow. I mean, if anyone has any interest in like the indie break-off version of the hardcore scene and the post scene, and you are familiar with At the Drive-In, you are absolutely going to love this band through and through. More amazingly, even though like At the Drive-In, who I'm gonna most common refer that this band is in similarities to, and as I play songs and discuss key elements, you're gonna be like, oh shit, like they had to be best friends. No, they weren't. They were not. I mean, the Megetti came from Jersey. At the Drive-In was out of El Paso. They had their first EP was like 94 under Hell Paso. And 3 years later, the Megetti, let's go with Megetti for this episode. It came out in 97 again. Keep in mind, I did a little research on that. Like 97, the internet wasn't as popping as we have it now. I mean, there was AOL. In 94 actually, they said there was like 10,000 registered websites as opposed to what we have now in the palm of our hand. So networking wasn't as regularly available. So it just goes to show how really true this band is. Just how raw. They weren't trying to do it pretty. There wasn't much aesthetics to it, but fuck if this shit isn't good. I really like the idea of their album being called Steal the Jet Keys, because immediately, and I'm going to show the first song right now. It's about a minute and change. But the very first part of this song, you were just hooked, and you know you are going for a fucking adventure. This album through and through. And I'm going to discuss towards the end why this is a fucking gem of it. So I'm going to put on right now the very first song by the Megetti. Let's keep doing that. Kind of cool. Off of Steal the Jet Keys. And tell me you aren't hooked as much as I am. Because granted, if you know anything about me, everything is just solid gold to me off the bat. Like, I really don't have a bad... Nothing's okay. If it's okay, I'm not going to listen to it. But fuck, this shit is fucking sick. I love it. So enjoy. I'm going to put that on, and we'll talk a little more about that. And I want to dabble back to the other little similarities of At the Drive-In, because they're the most relatable band. And if you haven't heard of them, I haven't. They have like 100 hits on YouTube since 97. Wow. So let's get familiar with them. So again, the Megetti, first song off of Steal the Jet Keys. Okay, so did I tell you guys, or did I tell you guys, right? That shit was fucking sick, for lack of a better words, better verbiage. Yeah, like I want to focus again, like I mentioned, the similarities, where you can relate to it, where, you know, you could familiarize yourself because it is a liked sound. Relationship of Command. Did that not just sound like, what was that song? Rolodex Propaganda, where Iggy Pop, Manuscript Replica, like, wow, 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 wow. I heard it and I was like, damn, is that Cedric singing? And what's wrong with that being similar? Like, that was a really cool sound that people were developing and getting into. I mean, 94, 97, what were the big bands then? Like Hanson and Backstreet Boys and Boys to Men. Like, they were really breaking down barriers, and they were really paving the way for a lot of bands that are out now that we just take for granted. So yeah, like, and trust me, it's gonna get even better as it goes along. Like, I got like 2 more songs to sample before I told you there's a big surprise at the end. Like, wow, like, if not paying homage to some elders, like, I don't know. Excuse me, I don't know what is. So the next thing I want to do is talk about some of their lyrics. Like I mentioned before, I really appreciate the fact that when a band doesn't focus on aesthetics and it's just that raw power. Another Iggy Pop reference, raw power. But no, one thing I think that bands miss out on today, as I mentioned, that's why it says the rant. They're caught up in just being a circus sideshow. Like, there's no substance in the lyrics. It's all just this general, like, angry, fuck the cops, fuck this, fuck that. Like, okay, why? Like, anyone could just say fuck the cops. Like, that shit's old. What are we, NWA? And like, that shit was relevant then. I'm not saying it's not now, but we're a little more educated now. I want to point out this one. This is off song number 2, Trying to Find the First Time. And this repetitive, the chorus, it's real repetitive, real plain and simple, but it really drives in the point. I was so busy living, I missed my life, or something like that. But you'll hear it right now. And something that we can relate to now. Like, how cool and relevant is that? Like, 23 years ago, damn, I feel old. A song released in 97 carries the same message that a lot of us are caught up in now. Like, granted, it's a little kind of like hypocritical that I'm using social media as a platform to discuss this stuff, but we're so caught up on likes and hashtags and just being cool. Like, we're missing out shit. Not to sound like Ferris Bueller, but fuck, if you don't stop and smell the roses, or what do you say? Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and smell the roses, you might miss it or so. But I mean, it's a message we don't need to forget. And I really respect that all those years ago, back in 97, these dudes were really preaching it. So I'm going to put that sample on. Again, just the music behind it, beautiful. The message, even more amazing. And enjoy. This is off of, again, song number 2, Trying to Find the First Time, from the Trans Megetti. Okay, so, I mean, the relevance, the simplicity, what more do you need in a chant of a chorus? Like, you need to hear that song twice, and next thing you know, you're singing along too. Like, fucking killer. As always, how cool is that? So one thing next I want to touch on is the sound of, like, the actual musical element that they have. Besides the lyrics, let's go to, as I mentioned, this was some, like, groundbreaking instrumentals they were doing. I mean, nothing out the ordinary, nothing that no one's ever done before. They weren't like the first or pioneers, but they really were pushing the boundaries into breaking away from the roots of their hardcore scene into like the indie post style. Song number 5, King Mixer. It really gets you hooked on just the bass line alone. It's really, 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 again, simplistic, but it does the fucking job. Like, I can't stress enough how I barely heard this album one time, and I was like, yep, I am doing episode number 2 on them, because it is a fucking venture through and through. So join me, if you will, on song number 5, King Mixer. Was I right, or was I right? Yeah, I related, and I keep related. I keep referring to the similarities at the drive-in. Let's build a familiarity basis. Familiarity. But who remembers their old performances, even like on Letterman? The way that they would dance on stage, and it was the bass line that carried it. Like, come on, you know, you did a little of this. Come on, you guys know you did a little of that as you were listening to it. Don't deny it. Let it go through you. Let it move. Megetti. It's getting you, right? Okay, so you guys see where I'm going with this? Why this is just Raiders of the Lost Ark, Holy Grail. Like, okay, so as I promised, there was a hidden gem at the end. You guys aren't ready for it. Lord knows I wasn't. I was looking into the album, looked up online, did my research. Drumroll. I seen at the end a song was called Everything Turns Gray, the last song, and I was like, no fucking way. This has to be some serendipitous coincidence. Maybe they decided in their little day-to-day Jersey living that they wanted to be a little avant-garde and write a song titled Everything Turns Gray. So I play it. Totally a sound on their own. Did not know it was a cover until they started singing. They covered Agent Orange. Wow, what kind of homage was that to some surf, rock, punk styled fucking shredding on the bass and riff magic gods? Like, I don't even know where I was going with that. It didn't make sense beginning to end. That sentence had no, it didn't even fall through, but you get what the fuck I'm saying. They covered Agent Orange. Fuck, that came out of left field. Talk about a Hail Mary, and it fucking rocked, man. Wow, can you see the excitement? Yeah, if that's not taking the time to pay respect to some elders and keeping true to your roots, even though you're taking it to a whole new level, man, kudos to them. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on, just a small clip. I'm gonna play like their intro up to when the lyrics go, and even though I told you about it, you won't believe it. Guarantee these fuckers, jeez Louise, man. yeah, yep, that just happened. Um, Try to warn you guys. I don't think any of you got seatbelts in your office chairs. Probably fell off your seat, right? Like, just noise orgasm, like all over. Just everything turns gray. Agent Orange at the drive-in, fucked, and had a baby. Man, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Again, just one man's opinion. Can't say thank you enough for tuning in. And to the trans Megetti, spaghetti, if you guys ever watch this, thank you for doing what you did. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I really don't have much else to say except, again, thank you guys for sticking with me. On a personal note, you know, as the camera angle is not all like, you know, got tons of feedback about that. Just the most beautiful constructive criticism. The audio is going to get better soon. I'm trying to put something aside to invest in some recording equipment. But yeah, let this organically just develop, and stay tuned because you guys will get to see it grow as much time as I'm putting in. You guys will reap the rewards. Those, all three of you who are tuning in. Nah, man, just thank you guys again. And please, in the comments, the Instagram's now on. Thanks to Point of View Graffiti. I will put the link in the description. Point of View. Through their generous and time-consuming efforts, they took my description of that cliche hardcore album. I wanted to be easy recognizable, and damn, did they just hit the nail on the head. If any of you guys are interested in LA graffiti, I highly recommend you add them on Instagram. Point of View Graph. That DIY at its best. I'm talking about a zine that's printed by the people for the people. Good homeboy of mine, and if you need any graphic designs done, that's your guy. So stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll keep on the updates. Add me on Instagram, like, subscribe, all that good shit, and please send me some totally lost momentum, right? Send me any recommended songs and bands that you think I dig too, because this isn't about me. This is for you guys, and I want to hear it. So have a good one, and take care.